I thought it was 1. That's nice, though. Okay. Wait a minute, I don't see your charts.
I'm listening. You can't see your charts either, so. I'm listening. I'm just chewing. I don't want y'all to hear me chew, so I'm paying attention. If you need me, let me know.
Yes. Well, I'm not. Can you hear me chewing my popcorn? Okay. Let me put my chart up because that's what I've kind of been trading. So what do you have, a 4-hour? And it's off a weekly level. Can I see your week? Go ahead. We don't know about it either.
I'm shoving it down, buddy. I'm shoving it down.
Wait, James, I don't know
I'm
about
on this
it.
I'm on this weight loss program, so it won't take me much because it's like eating like a bird. So just give me about 2 more minutes, and I'll be ready to roll.
Do we know about it and Brian doesn't, or I don't know about it either? Okay. Well, I wanted to see your weekly chart first to see the fresh levels on the weekly. One. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Which would be good. Now that demand is, that's 103,554? Oh, 102. Okay, 102. Right, that makes more sense on my chart, just using the signal, the line, the indicator. So where do you, it's hitting this, what do you think this is doing on the weekly? It's turning around, but not in fresh demand. Mm-hmm.
All right. I feel much better eating my rabbit food now that I can hear you guys talk. It's well worth it if I can get here fast enough to listen, because I had two girls that had golf practice today, so I've been driving for them since 3:30. I've been doing that dad thing. Yeah, well, some days it sucks.
Your
But I wouldn't
daughters
trade
play
it.
golf?
Both of them do now.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, my little one, 13, she just started about 5 weeks ago. She's not as strong as my oldest, but her work ethic is insane. She doesn't mind working at it, whereas my oldest one is an athletic girl. She just doesn't want to be hot and sweaty. She's a typical girl. Yeah, she rather, she doesn't mind playing golf, but she'd rather do it in a cart instead of walking. Whereas my youngest one could care less. My youngest one has a heart problem. She doesn't mind working at all. And my oldest one doesn't have a heart problem, and she doesn't want to work. But it's just different personalities. But they're both have a nice swing. Obviously, my oldest one's been playing 3 years now, so she's shooting in the upper 80s now. My other one, we're just hoping she gets around 130. So we'll find out on Monday. She has her first tournament. If we can keep the tornadoes out of our backyard, we'll be happy.
Yeah, geez.
I mean, good. Last night it was insane. At 1:30, I was telling Al this morning. I thought he was up talking on the screen. The winds were just the whole house was shifting. It felt like everything was moving, and they estimated 60-mile-an-hour winds. So we're supposed to have another one of those tonight as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, they showed one in Oklahoma, I think. The winds are 175 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's about most of my relatives live in Oklahoma City, and it's just south of them that everything's hitting. So we're 3 hours from Oklahoma City, so about if you drive 2 hours north of us, was where my in-laws are, or not my in-laws, my relatives, they are where everything's basically hitting. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But they all have storm shelters. Here in Texas, our water table, North Texas, our water table is too high to have any sort of real underground shelter, which is ironic. Yeah, in a lot of ways like Florida, yeah. Except our ground is like clay goo, whereas theirs is more sandy. Yeah, so we don't have basements here. I would love to have a basement. No, man, I don't need a big house, but I would love to have a basement where it's always cool. I mean, it's a little damp at times, but always cool. I'd put my office down there. I'd be fine. I wouldn't bother anybody. It's quiet. But as much rain as we've had lately, I'd have to make sure I have a sump tank of some sort to suck all that water out of there. All right, I'm guessing this has to do with institutional levels. You giggle. I must be right on. I've been thinking about this all day long. I'm thinking he emailed me and said a surprise. I wonder what kind of surprise he's talking about. And I've been thinking about it all day long. I am. I may, like a little girl. What is that now? What am I looking at though?
I'm Forex tester.
Oh, I see. Forex tester. That's what it is. Holy smoke! This is gonna be good. Well, I guess I know where I'll be Saturday. Now, what is your line representing? I like that idea. The the zones that we've been working with. These are going to match up to what we're currently working. The what now? And they disappear once the line's no longer fresh. Okay, so my question number 2 is, now that I'm getting ready, what I've done with my 1 hour chart is I have my 1 hour colors and my 4 hour colors. I'm not able to do that yet. Because I'm thinking if I can trade on a 1 hour chart with 4 hour levels and a 1 hour level on top of each other, to me that's confirmation of a strong area, as is if I'm trading with a 4 hour and I have a daily wall sitting there. That's been real helpful for me. I've actually manipulated the colors pretty good to where if it's a bold color, then I'm in good shape. If it's a lighter color, that means it's a lower time frame for me. And so I've been, yes, that'd be fine too. I can deal with that. Are they still in beta with the Forex 3? Okay, that's why they're not. They're looking for bugs now, which would be a good thing. So this is bogging down. I just need to go from 2010 probably with this at the longest. If I'm trading bigger time frames, obviously, if you're a lower time frame, you don't need that many because you have more trades. I figure a good sample size is anywhere from 100 to 200 trades. That to me verifies a lot more than just a 30 or a 50 trade sample. You will be emailing me this indicator? You will be emailing this to me? Okay. Yeah. I think this is cool. I wasn't expecting this so fast because you were talking like, oh, man, this is not easy, and I'm thinking, okay, then I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to keep on my quarters thing. I'm still going to finish my test that I'm still running, but this will be nice to be able to incorporate, especially when I do. I'm planning on possibly doing a Saturday one, especially now that this is available.
I was hoping the good news was going to be that you were telling me you were going to send me the indicator.
Ah. Okay, so now you get it on TradeStation. See, I'm getting rid of my TradeStation account, but that looks nice there too. Yeah, pretty much. Although Merlin's still giving plugs for them, so they must be paying for advertisement through OTA. So Apple's just now coming into a demand area. Okay, interesting. I forget that these asset class doesn't trade all the time. I'm so used to just looking at live charts and Friday shutdowns. That's it. I forget that we actually have stops. This is so cool. Hmm. And it fit. Yeah, it fit. Why waste time? You've already done the work before. That's the key. Smarter, not more. Let me see. I was going to ask you a question. I forget what it was. Okay. Until it's cleared off. That's kind of helpful because then you don't have to scroll all the way back. I like it. I'm just trying to figure out how you find time to trade if you're doing all this stuff.
Well, he's got the levels on his chart now, so it's easy for him to see it. He doesn't have to think about it anymore.
So this is keeping you from manipulating your own trades. So when I go play golf, you start programming. I like that way. Hey, if it works, that's what you got to do. That's what I was
And are you
telling
sticking
Tony.
just to levels, James? Are you using your 4-hour chart and using off the higher time frames and just the fresh levels to take trades?
So you do a 15 minute, and you're always taking fresh regardless. You don't ever take the not fresh. It's good to know because, like, we're looking at the Aussie US coming through, so I'm looking to be short at the 73.87 mark. That's
4-hour chart?
Take that back. I've got two of them. I got two setups. One of them's on a 4-hour chart. One of them's on the hour chart. I'm looking at my 1 hour. Let me go back to my 4 hour. My first one is 74. Looks like 74.51.
You're not waiting for it to go up 74.51. Oh, and that's the. That's the fresh, I think that's what I asked Al today, the fresh supply up there.
Yeah, and on my
It's a big drop, right?
yeah, and then on my 1 hour, it's a big zone. There's two fresh. If you're looking on the 1 hour chart, you can see that there's two fresh areas of my 4 hour. I mean, the 1 hour has that 4 hour zone has three different levels. If you look at it on the 1 hour chart.
What's the bottom line on your entry for 1 hour? 74, like around 58?
My actual entry is 74.51.
74.51. 27.
Couple reasons why I've taken that particular entry is a little more aggressive, but if you look at on May 4th through the end of May 4th, that whole day it could not break that line at 74.50. So I just put my where it was once demand, and it finally broke through it, and that's where I'm going to get in at. Now, once I meet my 1-to-1, then I'll move my stop down to probably the 74.83 mark. Since on the hour chart you can see two different zones. On the 4 hour you can't. But it looks like a good play for me. My last target is down at the green, which is 71.75. So I'm just above that 71.75 for my last target.
Now isn't 74.25, 74.250? That's your major. That's the bottom line of your major quarters, right?
72.50?
No, 74.25.
That's the bottom of, yeah, that's your hesitation area of your 7,500 mark.
Right, so you're waiting for it to get through there, head up to 75, but you're going to go short at the
Sure. Now,
74.50.
if I wanted to be, again, it goes back to whatever style you are, and I think James would agree that if you're a purist on the quarters theory, I mean, totally a purist, then you're going to be on the 74.25 taking that entry. The problem with that is the pivot to where your stop is going to be probably about 100 pips, 110 pips, instead of what I'm risking, 60 pips. So I'm just taking it's actually 70 pip risk for me instead of taking a 102 pip risk. So I'm saving 30 pips, waiting for a deeper entry. So it may hit the quarter and bounce right back down, but it can bounce down and go a little higher up. So I'm not waiting for the first try. If it happens to hit in the first try, great. If it doesn't, I'll just keep waiting. As long as it's fresh, I don't care. Sooner or later, it's going to come back. Until it shows me that we are truly on an uptrend, then I'm not worried about it. And that would have to mean that it's going all the way down to 71.75 and show a consistent level. And that would, in my mind, would become my last line in the sand. So to me, I'm playing the range of the curve. The pink area for me on the Aussie US, that area is high on the curve, and my low on the curve is 71.75. Both are fresh, and we are heading up towards supply, which is high. So I'm looking to be short.
Okay. I mean, it can hit 74.25 and then go down, bounce down,
Sure.
right, and then go up and then get through and then get to your level.
Sure.
That's a real fresh level.
Yeah, but if it doesn't, that's okay. I didn't lose any money if I don't hit the trade.
Okay.
I didn't miss anything. Now, on the aggressive side of things, if I go to my 1 hour chart, there is a 7 pip zone right now that's fresh that the Aussie's coming into. Especially being that we're 8 o'clock, I like it. And I'll take a little shot at that. It's a very, very small trade. It's the maximum I'm going to make off of this trade, but I'm not risking much. The maximum pip movement that I need is only 45 pips.
Wait a minute, where's the entry?
73.86.
On the 1 hour?
On the 1 hour, yes, ma'am.
James, does that show a fresh level? Oh, you know that. You have that thing, right? That's a fresh level on the Aussie on the 1 hour?
Aussie US 1 hour. You see it on yours? 73.86. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking to get now. It may not get there, but it looks like a pretty strong candle currently moving.
Mm-hmm.
And the trend is down overall. It's the most aggressive, but I'm only risking, like 11 pips. So to me, that's a very small risk to take a chance for a 44. So it'll be a 4-1 if it happens for me to go where my target's at. I'm not, let me measure that off again, just to make sure I'm not telling you a lie. I've actually got 16 pips on it. So
Right.
my
You
stop
stopped
is
at
just
what? 7401, above 74, right?
right. I'm at the 7403. No, for my stop. Yeah, for stop. And then my first target's the 1-1. My second target is my 2-1, just like kind of what you've been doing. I don't need to get greedy. What's that? Well, I'm not worried about. Obviously, I'm trying to build my position size up to where I can go to 3 positions, had the 1-1, 2-1, and let the other one go, and not worry about it. But I don't quite have. I don't have my account closed. I'm moving. I've got accounts moving right now. I've got my individual account, which I've transferred money over to my LLC account. My trade station's been canceled, so I'm making for that money. So I've got a very small account, so I'm being very, very cautious right now on taking things that are a little too far out. I'd rather be guaranteed money.
Now, James, if so, you say you look at the 4-hour and you put your trade on the 15-minute chart. Like, so if you're looking at the Aussie, what would be your entry on a 15-minute?
I'm in that currently right now. Yeah, it was.
Did you get stopped out, Brian?
No, I'm still short.
No.
Yeah, I'm hanging on. I mean, I'm right. I'm almost right at break-even point. There was a nice fresh zone. And yeah.
Something 26.
And you're on the 15-minute chart? Okay, hold on one second. That's at what entry were you?
Oh, that's cool.
Which is no
It'll
longer
show
fresh.
when you keep it over to the right until it gets hit. So you can go back and see a fresh level.
And see, I took it short on a not fresh. Yeah, that's where I'm short. Now my stop's at the 68.50, so I've got a little bit of work to do because actually if you back it up a little bit more, it was fresh before, and then on the 10th of May, it really took a plunge when it barely touched it. So to me, it's a viable place. It came in and it's gone deep in, and not done much since. And now it seems it's gone deep into my zone, dropped for a profit, out, hit that fresh now, and now I'm hoping it turns back down again. You see what I'm saying? Because when I took the trade, it was actually not a fresh zone at 68.27, and I was filled. Let's see, good night. I was filled at 9:45 this morning. I did too, but I took a shot at it because I was getting greedy, and I got tired of waiting. And I wanted to test your theory on zones. And see, when I'm looking at 4-hour charts, the nearest supply is 71.27. That's fresh for me. Now you're saying another one? Oh, yours is not fresh. That's why. Mine's not even showing that up. Mine doesn't even show that now. Oh, because I've got this set for a daily. That's why. That's why. Yeah. That's where my chart's showing is on the daily. Yeah, and it could, because to me, it's in an uptrend. However, SSI is still showing to be short, and so I decided to go ahead and give it a roll. And I didn't take a big zone on it, so I'm not like, oh my, I'm gonna lose my shirt. But I wanted to play with one of your zones. I want to see. I mean, I only risked 22 pips, and I barely missed. I mean, it went halfway to my, and then it hit a green. Now I got a green supply that I have to go through, so it's gonna be a battle. Let me see. I got in at, that would be 68.26. So if you slid it over, it was fresh. 68.26, 68.42. Those were the zones I got in on a 1 hour. Yep. My better trade would have been the one that happened on the 10th, but I would have definitely got one. I got in at the 9 o'clock hour.
68.26.
9 o'clock hour. Which would be 10 o'clock your time, I guess. Then it pushed way up into its zone and dropped off, and now it's pushing back into that zone again. Yep. Yeah, thank you, James. I appreciate it. Hey, take your wife out to dinner for me and tell her it's on me. Did you tell her? Did you tell her this is on Brian? Okay, just making sure. Think of me well.
James, can you put the Aussie back on the 4 hour and then the 15-minute chart to see where the fresh levels are on the 15 minute?
For the Aussie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. There's not much to... I was saying, once we go down, there's not much... I was telling Tony this the other day. Once it breaks that unfresh zone that we're sitting on top of right now, there's nothing left. I got my sell order at 74.51. Time frame are you looking at? Oh, that's 15 minutes. So yours is 74.61. That's where I'm sitting at. That's a 4 hour zone. Actually, that's a daily zone. Yeah, so that's beautiful. So with that being known and listening to you, I'm going to remove my most aggressive trade so you don't take your wife out on me again. If I'm going to pay for it, I might as well go with her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, that was... So you feel like this thing's got potential to go higher up, obviously. $74.70. So up into the zone, and that is a institutional number. Where are you going? 75 what? 20 what?
That's above the minor quarter top line, right? 75.25. Up there.
Right.
Okay.
What was your target? 2? 2 to 2? 2 to 1? Which is going to take you to that not fresh zone. If it's not fresh by then. Otherwise, it could blast down. Operator error. What does that mean? And you have a day trading account. Both under LLC? Dude. I saved a lot of money on taxes because I had the LLC. I'm even starting able to write off my school even though I'm several years after the fact. Right. I agree. So you look at the 4 hour and then go for the 15-minute? Confirmation. Mine did that the other day, but it was because I lost more money. Or was that this morning when I found out I gave you money? Yeah, I can't remember. It's all the same.
Didn't Jack call that trade or Al?
What was that?
Oh, I know why we got started on it. Because you said FinViz, you said the Kiwi was the strongest.
Yeah,
Good.
this morning it sure was. I haven't looked at FinViz since I've been home, but I'll
So you're the one who said it, and then but you were going short
right.
on it.
But I was going short higher on the Aussie.
No, on the Kiwi.
On the Kiwi, I did, but I didn't go. I didn't go short immediately. I had it up higher and pressed or higher up. I was hoping the Kiwi would stay weak and blast up into my zone and drop down. Right now, the Kiwi is strong, but there's not a lot of
No, but the
volatility
Kiwi
going on.
was the first one on FinViz. Kiwi was the strongest.
Right, but what I was saying, what I was waiting for is I had my price higher up, and I was hoping it would stay strong up through to my zone and drop off.
And then go weak.
Right, then go weak.
Yeah, I don't think it ever paused.
It got weak, and then it's going right back through its zone again. I was up for a while when I looked at this morning, so it was. Didn't last long, so it's still strong. It's not near as strong as it was, but it's still over 10. And 10, anything over 10 to me is viable. So right now, if I'm trading something, I'm buying the New Zealand and selling the Aussie together. That's the pair right now. If I was doing overnight trade, because both of those are in, one's negative 24, one's 28, and I would want to be buying the Kiwi right now against the Aussie. But I've never traded that pair, so yeah. So I would be shorting that. I think, can you jump that on your screen? I've not seen it. Do you have it available? Do you trade that pair at all? Yeah, I was thinking there was something that was keeping me from doing it. Yeah, there you go. You would have looked on a less than 4 hour? No. Yeah. That's a good month. Would you still take those zones? That's what I was looking for the law, and I was thinking, man, that's been. Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question on that. Does the programming and the coding determine? Is it only? It's always going to be not fresh, and it can continually hit it over and over and over and over and over again. There's no once it hits it 4 or 5 times, it's out of there. Period. Right? It has to clear the zone. Okay. I like the buy on the weekly. That's your daily chart. Yeah. And I would not mind that short sell where it's currently sitting, but that must be that not fresh combined in there as well for your daily. That it's what? Right. It's getting easier. Have you talked to him yet? Have you showed Tim this stuff? Yeah, I like that guy. I really do. He's a good man. Is he going to ever come in and talk with us? That would be good. I think that would be a huge thing. I don't know why it's been so quiet. I don't know if everybody's just frustrated or busy life or what. Yeah, the what part?
Do you get a different color on your thing if it's authentic, not fresh, or whatever? Oh. Hmm.
Uh, yeah, if you get your brain going. I just don't have that gift. I was telling my couple of my co-teachers I talked with today. I said, I don't know how you do it, but fast. I mean, I said I can get in there and I can figure out general computer stuff. I'm techie enough to be dangerous, but as far as putting a language together and a coding, I don't get it. I mean, I really don't get it. Never have. I was a horrible coder when I tried to do it in college. It just wasn't. I just couldn't speak that language. It just was not. It was always foreign to me. So I'm glad that you're around and kind of doing that. Everybody has their own little gifts, and that's not one of mine. I think my gift is sarcasm, and I can always add that to the group. So if anybody ever needs a little help with that, I'm here for you. I do listen. I do enjoy listening to Al talk, though, for sure. He's a sharp
I'm not
man.
going to be here now for 10 days.
Well, then we can ruin people then in the morning before James gets here. I'll get up. I'll help you out. Tony, if you're up, I'll help you out.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there'll be. I mean, I'll share my screen so you can see what's current. as far as the zone and see what's happened overnight. We can talk about that before I go.
Right, unless Jane's going to be here at 6:30.
After having this long, wonderful night out on me, he may be too tired to wake up that early. I like to listen. Sometimes I'm listening, like to this morning I was drawing my TIM levels in. I'm still trying to tie in TIM levels with zones to see how they coordinate, how they react, how they play. Did he ever give you an idea how to use his, interpret his lines of usage? Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, he's good. He's not. I mean, he's not looking to mess anybody over for sure. I think he's a legit man. I don't think he's definitely not a self-centered person. That doesn't mean he doesn't want to make money, but he's not near as. I was describing to him a few of the instructors that I've had, and he goes, well, you nailed those. And I said, well, I mean, it's not hard to figure out certain personalities. Very valid instructors. Nothing wrong with the instruction. But as far as having what I would call a mentor teacher, those aren't the individuals, because it's like once you get through their class, they'll help you, but they don't have time to really help you much because they're doing another class and they're doing another class. So there's really no, hey, I'm going to partner with a mentor. But Tim and I hit it off, and we kind of, I don't ask for very many things from him as far as what's your trade setups. I mean, he's got other things to do. But if I have a question, I can feel confident. I feel confident I could always say, hey, what about that? Why does that work? And he would not be offended to answer the question. So I just don't. I try not to abuse the guys,
Right. Oh, James, you started talking about the yen, the first thing.
Yen. I'm in it long. Were you trying to go short or long? I'm in it right now long, as you are. Correct. Which we should hit shortly.
No, that was a fresh level this morning.
Absolutely. That's why I took it as a quarter.
No. Mm-hmm.
Now my question is, why wouldn't you take that now? You said you didn't want to get into it. Okay, I
You got him by
misunderstood.
accident.
You got him by accident. Head and shoulders means it's going to be dropping like a rock. And you have your stop right. Are you putting any wiggle room after your zones, or are you strictly doing the zone? Did you put your stop at the bottom always? Is that how you're doing your setups? You don't put another 2 or 3 pips under that zone? Okay, so no wiggle room on the stops. That's good to know. That saves me some pips. Right, okay. See, I'm looking at this on the hour because, you know, Tim's information, he provides what he calls a selected zone. You know, you realize that, right? You've seen that, where his preferred zones are. This thing blasted right through it. However, it has not, his line, he puts his zone of buying just above his line. It is not closed below that line. So that line to me is valid. Now, had I had my stop at that line, I'm hosed. But that's why one reason I wanted to go long is because the zone coordinated in a couple ways. It was quarters. It had an institutional line. It also encompassed part of his zone, and our time on this was also valid. You know, I don't know what you're calling it anymore, but it's valid. And so your indicator, it was actually, I mean, it was fresh until, why did it, I want to know why, okay, it was fresh until when, right there. No, the time and zone didn't bother me, but I liked the fact that I had, it worked for quarters, number one. Number two, it was a fresh and a not fresh zone, the full thing on your chart. It also was one of Tim's institutional numbers. So I had 3 things telling me, okay, you can go long on this. And so it's kind of cool how it's working out so far. But to me, this is a downtrend. Where's your target at? Okay. And that's a 1-to-1 for you? Okay, because you went deeper in. You didn't take the full. Did you take that full zone? Okay, that makes sense. See, I have my 1-to-1s at the 71 mark, so it's going to be right at the base of a not fresh zone, but because of my risk, I had a little more. I didn't get deeper in. Interesting, interesting, interesting. What oil do today? Anything? It did not have that kind of impact on the. Well, it kind of did. Did that happen at the 9:15 area, 9 o'clock? 9:30. Yeah. So it had a little bit of an impact on the CAD yen, but it pulled almost all the way back and now moving back up again. So it's not near as strong on that. Obviously, is the dollar considered weak? I would assume, at least in comparison to oil. Would you take that fresh zones down? Yep. Or is it? And that's on your 15-minute chart. I'm looking at the 29.95, 30.16. Do you see that zone? 29.95 and 30.16. You have that on yours? I'm on an hour chart. There it is. That's the one I'm looking at. That's just got about as what you want it to be then. And it doesn't have much risk in my opinion. It's a small zone. So I like that part. Small risk. I'm all right with that. For me it's a one position. I'm going with one target, simple 1.5 to 1. Because I don't like the CAD, but I like the trade. Does that make sense? So instead of doing my normal thing, I just get real small and try to get some success before I branch out further. So I'm just looking kind of basically to get a 60 pip move. And I'd be happy. Because I just don't like this pair much. Yeah, and I don't understand oil enough, I don't think, to really take advantage of it. But it is playing the major hole. I mean, that really is as high as you can go. If we're playing quarters, this is a good, I mean, if it's going to break through that 130 area, it's going to do it as it moves up. And it's going to get, that means the oil is going to go down in price, which I just don't see that happen a whole lot. I think it's coming back up for a while. Or it may have already touched off. But I'm not seeing any reaction really on the U.S. CAD. Was it okay, the CAD got stronger, so the oil shot up, the price of oil. Okay, so I'm thinking it's going to continue down. That's just my 2 cents worth. And the euro I've just been staying pretty much away from for a while. It just doesn't seem to, I've got one, there's no real clear direction for me on this one. I am taking a small position. It is at the 1488, 1491. Little bitty zone there. Again, it goes back to small position size. Or not small risk, big reward. I won't have to go very far to get 1 to 1 and 2 to 1. And if there's no development of a demand zone prior to entry, then my FAR target's a good move. It's probably 4 or 5 to 1. Do you see the area that I'm looking at? 1488, 1491. I've got it showing on the 1 hour chart. That's it. To me, it doesn't get much prettier than that. Small, big move away. You know, and I put my entry, again, I dropped my entry down. I guess for me, it's a little more aggressive wiggle room. My entry is a little ahead of the 1488. It's actually at the 1484 line because of the congestion right there before it decided to drop. Good thought or a bad thought, or would you move it up? See that basing right there where it was the man? It kept bouncing off that line. Yeah. So I put it just below 1488. It comes out to 1484 is where my entry's at. Makes sense? Okay, good. Stops above that pivot. That's where I'm at. And look how it reacted when it tried to get there with the news. All right, well, it's 8:30. It's time for me to go talk to my kids before they go to bed. I'm excited about this new thing you got with Forex Tester.